The woman opened her eyes and found herself waking up in a strange place. There was something inexplicably stuck in her mouth, and she tried to pull it out with her hands, which caused her to cough. Anxious and uneasy, she sat up and found that the thing in her mouth was connected to a belt behind her, which was tightly locked with a padlock. She looked around and discovered that she was not the only one here. Following the footsteps of others, she arrived at a square where a mysterious wooden box was placed in the center of the lawn. Several people approached the wooden box little by little, and an old man was the first to arrive. He picked up the crowbar next to the wooden box and was about to open it when a man behind him stopped him, warning him that it might be a trap. The old man ignored the warning and continued to pry off the planks. The man quickly retreated, and the woman hurriedly ran away when she saw the scene. They all stayed away from the wooden box, hiding behind and watching. The old man slowly removed the nails, and when it seemed to be enough, he put down the crowbar, grabbed the plank with his hand, and forcefully turned it back. The old man stepped back 2 steps, and everyone's eyes fell on the corner of the wooden box. At this moment, a little pig walked out. They seemed to have been fooled, but the old man noticed something else and threw the plank aside, reaching into the wooden box and pulling out an armory. Various guns and knives were displayed in front of them, and the people around quickly moved towards the weapons, seeming to fight for the most suitable equipment. The woman followed their footsteps and found a bag on the back of the plank. She opened it and took out a key, guessing that it was the key to unlock the mouthpiece. She called out to the man, and indeed, he unlocked the lock behind her. Then, the woman's mouthpiece was also unlocked. They helped each other remove all the restraints, and the old man gave the woman a handgun. So far, what had happened remained confusing. Then, several gunshots were heard, and they hit everywhere. The woman was suddenly shot in the head while hiding behind the wooden box, and the man was so scared that he hurriedly hid on another floor. He saw a person with 2 guns running wildly, but was quickly shot down by random gunfire. The man had nowhere to hide, so he ran wildly on the road and rescued an injured woman, carrying her into the forest. However, as they walked, they suddenly triggered an ambush set by someone else, and with a loud bang, both of them were killed. On the other side, several people who successfully escaped arrived at the edge of the forest, and the road was separated by a wire fence. This was a hunting game, and what they had to do now was to survive. Several people took off their jackets and hung them on the fence, climbed over the fence, and went over it. The old man with a white beard was still climbing up when arrows shot from a distance landed beside him. The man urged him to speed up, but the second arrow pierced his chest, and he shouted that this game was inhumane. The man had no time to lose and quickly left with 2 others, moving forward along the road until they arrived at a convenience store at a gas station. They walked in and pointed their guns at a couple, shouting and asking where they were. Then, they called the police and reported that they had been kidnapped in a small town and forced to participate in a hunting game. The police told them not to worry and that they would arrive soon. Suddenly, one of their companions who was stealing something from the convenience store screamed, and the 2 men rushed over to check. The woman was lying on the ground, foaming at the mouth. The man turned around and found that the couple had already put on gas masks. They pulled the pin from a gas cylinder and threw it at their feet. The gas was released instantly, knocking down one person. The old man quickly took out his gun and shot the man down. Then, the couple walked towards them, confirmed that they were no longer breathing, and began to clean up the scene. They opened the exhaust fan to remove the gas and carried the bodies of the 3 people to a storage room next door. After cleaning up, they waited quietly for the arrival of the next group of players, which would be in 5 minutes according to the intercom. Soon, a woman walked into the store. Her code name was Snowball. Snowball didn't show any panic, but instead asked for a box of cigarettes. She bent down and pulled out a banknote from her sock, and the old lady put the change on the table. At this point, the old man had already gripped the gun under the table. Snowball glanced at the change on the table and suddenly grabbed the old lady's head, then rolled into the bar and took out the gun under the table, aiming at the old man. The old man was shot and fell to the ground. She turned around and took care of the other 2 people cleanly and efficiently. In the storage room, she found 3 bodies. Before leaving, she took the remaining bullets from the store and walked to a car outside, only to find that the car had also been tampered with. If she opened the car door, the bomb would explode. Snowball crawled under a hidden tree and took the walkie-talkie from the couple. A woman's voice came from the walkie-talkie, probably the game developer, asking how the mission was going. At this time, a drone appeared in the sky, searching for the whereabouts of the couple in the store. Suddenly, it was hit by a bullet, and the developer realized that something was wrong and turned off the walkie-talkie. A man arrived with a gun, and just as he was about to open the car door, Snowball stopped him and warned him that there was a bomb in the car. She gained his trust and learned that he was one of the people who had been kidnapped and brought to this place. They had arrived at the gas station's location and proceeded along the railway track. When they heard the sound of a train, they immediately increased their speed and jumped onto the only open carriage when it approached. The bearded man was also dragged in with great effort, but there were also illegal immigrants from India hiding inside the carriage. They had a dispute due to their language barrier. Suddenly, the train stopped, and their dispute drew the attention of the authorities. They were forced to jump off the carriage, and the bearded man told the officer that they had been forced to participate in a hunting game. However, the officer did not believe him. After the officer left, the Indian fugitive revealed his true identity as a member of the hunting game. The bearded man pounced on him, and a hand grenade fell to the ground. He picked it up, pulled out the safety pin, and stuffed it into his pants. The people scattered and fled as the grenade exploded with a loud bang, and he disappeared into the sky. Snowball was taken to the nearby army base and met a comrade from the game there. Fortunately, embassy officials came to rescue them. The next day, the 2 of them left the base by car, with an embassy staff member named Lao Zhang driving. However, Snowball had a feeling that something was not right. She curled up her legs and kicked him hard, knocking him unconscious, then opened the car door and pushed him out. A normal person would not think that being kidnapped was their own fault, but when they opened the trunk and saw the bearded man's body, it confirmed their suspicions. They found a map in the trunk and went to the game developer's base according to the map. Meanwhile, a few people were discussing what to do next at the base. Snowball had already arrived nearby and took out the man standing guard outside before entering the base. With her agile movements, she completed the mission fearlessly, having having been a real female soldier on the battlefield. After eliminating everyone at the base, she went to the boss's villa. They had planned this game a year ago. The boss, Ellie, was a high-ranking executive at a company, but there were rumors online that her hobby was to kidnap poor people and take them to the forest to watch them hunt each other. She couldn't take it anymore and actually planned a real hunting game. The list of players was the same as those who had spread the rumors online, but when Snowball arrived at the villa and met her, she realized they had kidnapped the wrong person. Snowball had never spread rumors about anyone online, but it had come to a point where they had to fight to the death. Even when Ellie was dying, she refused to admit their mistake. After Snowball eliminated her, she put on a long dress, high heels, sunglasses, and took a dog with her as she boarded a private plane ready for takeoff.